Hey guys, it's Witness here from TFG. Among the games that we play, I most appreciate the ones that not only provide a lot of fun and loud group entertainment, but also the ones that build an atmosphere, a scenario. The games that make you feel like you're involved, like you're there. And a lot of the time, whenever we make videos as a group, even in games like The Forest, which does such an incredible job of building an ambiance, we miss out on that feeling because we're focused on each other and how we can have fun as a group rather than really jumping into the setting or the story. Now, that works perfectly fine for a group. When you're doing that, you're using the game as a platform rather than as the story. But I've been thinking about this, and I really want to provide an additional experience based a lot more on that feeling and involvement rather than on our interaction as a group. So I decided to make a series where I play a game with a detailed setting and do it without any commentary to try and get that immersion. For this, I chose the game The Long Dark, an indie game by Hinterland Studio. As an indie game, it is their first game, and they have knocked it out of the park regarding ambiance. The setting is in the northern Canadian wilderness after a disaster has knocked out most of human civilization, or at least that human civilization found in northern Canada. When the game fully releases, because right now it is an open alpha, version 0.393, it will include a story mode, a sandbox mode, and a challenge mode. Right now, the story mode is not available, which doesn't really matter because I'm going to be doing one of these two. Now, because I do want the game to have some sort of goal, I am going to be doing a challenge. I'm actually going to be doing the Hopeless Rescue Challenge. So the description is, recover the distress pistol from the summit of Timberwolf Mountain. Fire it from the top of Desolation Point Lighthouse. Would be fairly straightforward if I knew where those two places were. I have played this game before, as you can see right here. And while I do know a little bit of the base area of Mystery Lake, not huge on the rest of the geography. In fact, really bad at it. However, before we get started with the actual series, I did want to show you some of the game mechanics so that you can understand why I do things the way that I do them. When I see a wolf in the distance, I run away. So I'm not going to be playing very seriously. In fact, my big goal right now is to go through and die. I know you're all thinking, wow, I'm watching a guy play a survival game so he can die. And let's be honest, that is part of the reason why we all watch survival games. The game mechanics are very straightforward. If you're moving around, it's WASD. You're looking around with the mouse. To interact with any object, it's a very straightforward left click. Generally gives you two options at the bottom. If you right click, you just walk away. You don't do anything. Cattails are actually incredibly useful because, well, they're both edible and a great fire starter. Oddly enough. That was not intentional. The game mechanics, in terms of how you survive, very, I like to think, realistic. You have body warmth, you have how rested you are. You can't just keep going forever. You do have to stop and sleep at times. Then you have your hydration, and then you have hunger. It conveniently shows you your calorie store, what the temperature feels like outside, and last but not least, what your overall condition is. And your overall condition is pretty much, well, wonderful. I'm already going to die. Your overall condition is sort of your health bar in this. Starts off at 100%. If you reach 0 on any of your stat levels, that starts to drop. Am I going to... Okay, I made it away. That's strange. Generally, they're faster than you are. So anyway, if any of the stats reach 0, you don't die immediately. It just starts sapping away at your overall condition. You will notice right now in the bottom left-hand corner, there is a little shield and a wind icon. The game does take into account things like the wind, especially into your temperature. If you look at our clothing, which I need to show you anyway, you will see both an insulation value and a windbreaker value. So if you're thinking of, like, you know, 1990s America bright purple windbreaker, that would be ideal for a windy day. Additionally, you see a percent value here. That is how worn out something is. They do, to a very small extent, I think, wear out over time, but for the most part, it just happens whenever something happens to you. You can repair it, and the closer to 100% that is, the better that these two values will become. Obviously, something like jeans is never going to have a windbreaker value, but their insulation value does go up. Now, clothing can end up becoming wet or frozen, so this is actually much better than what I have on right now, if I have anything on right now. I don't. And it's that simple. Really, the only thing that I'm looking for right now is a flare, so that I can show you how to not fight off a wolf, but how to scare them away. And then I'm going to go die. Other game mechanics are, which really, really great realism, they made it so that if you're running into the wind, it makes you slow down a considerable amount. If you're running with the wind, it speeds you up. If you're running uphill, it slows you down. If you're running downhill, it speeds you up. If you walk through deep snow, that slows you down. So really a lot of it is just very straightforward, very reasonable stuff. At this point, you'll see me fight off wolves with a flare, I'm sure, because I die super fast. So right now I'm just going to go fight some wolves. Unlike bears, the wolves actually do have a capacity to be fought off. You can fight them off once, particularly if you have a weapon like a knife or a hatchet. I don't have either of those things right now. The game also has a rifle, but obviously that's not a huge amount of use once the wolf gets on you. You'll see afflictions on the side that show that I am having wounds. I am fighting off the wolf, but you can see my overall condition in the bottom left corner is 9%, which is going to do wonky things to me. Once I get up, I can show you the traits again. The temperature, you can see that my temperature is rapidly dropping. Everything else is just sort of dropping slowly because it's really cold out here. I am bleeding, which means that if I don't do anything to it, I will get even more wonky and then die. There is a second wolf over there, so that if I really wanted to, I could go suicide into him. But a really cool feature of fighting off a wolf is that you can actually, the wolf will die now. It is wounded to the point that it's, or not. You know what? I can just die that way too. That's how a wolf kills you. So you now know why, if I'm in the challenge and I see a wolf and turn around and run away, that's why. They're pretty brutal. It does afterwards give you a bunch of stats. But that's pretty much all of the game mechanics that I really wanted to share. The game overall is an absolute blast. I have played it a bit. I have played the survival a bit. But the challenges are new to me. I tried this one out for a few days just to make sure it all worked. Did end up dying in a glitch spot, so I will be sure to avoid that again. Overall, I'm planning on making the episodes about one in-game day, which would be somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. Some days will be shorter based on what I do during that day. Some days will be longer. There are a lot of things during the game that are sort of fast-forwarding moments where if you break something down or if you repair a piece of clothing, it just fast-forwards through that. It's not going to make you sit there for one in-game hour trying to fix something. That's really about it. Leave a comment or a like down below and be looking for the first episode. Thanks, and see ya.